26, which was our culinary cooking exam. One thing I'll add from day 25, we also did our final of our our cutting, our precision cuts and all of that. We did our final of that on day 25. So day 26, how it kind of works, very similar to the midterm, where we very similar to the midterm, where the only difference was in the midterm we were all making the same thing, whereas in the cooking exam we had 4 options. So the day before we drawed our time of what time we were going to start. I got the same as last time. I started at 8:30, I believe, which was very lucky because that's what I had made my timelines to be, because we had 4 dishes. We didn't know what one we would get until the morning of, so we had to make a timeline of all 4. And I was like, and because we didn't know until the night before, I just happened to make my timeline for what I made it for the last time. And so I made my timeline for the correct time, which it wouldn't have been the end of the world if it was the wrong time. I probably wouldn't have changed it. I would have still gone by like, okay, whatever, but I just was lucky where it was perfect. So the 4 options were beef stew with fresh pasta, and I will say with all of these we had to make mayonnaise. So we had an entree, 2 root vegetables, and a starch. So it was beef stew, green beans, bâtonnet root vegetables, and fresh pasta was dish 1. Dish 2 was sautéed chicken with fiend herb sauce, broccoli, braised red cabbage, and potatoes gratin. 3 was shallow poached chicken with tarragon sauce, broccolini, ratatouille, tourneed parsley potatoes, and then the last one was deep poached salmon with a beurre blanc sauce, jardinere root vegetables, sautéed chicken, whipped potatoes, and then mayonnaise with all of those. I didn't care which one I wanted to get. However, the one I did not I didn't care which one I wanted to get, but the one I did not want to get was deep poached salmon. I did not want to get that because deep poached salmon, you had to make the court bouillon, and then from the court bouillon is what you poach the salmon in. And I didn't want to have to take that extra step. I thought it was going to take too long. Well, of course, as luck would have it, I got deep poached salmon. So it didn't end up being that bad. I actually ended up having probably like 15 minutes of spare time where I was just like, what do I do? But I ended up messing up on my mayo and then having to remake it. One of my friends during the midterm messed up on her mayo, and she was trying to fix it, but how it broke, or it didn't really break, but how it like happened. She talked to the chef after, and he was like, honestly, when you're in that position, just remake it. So it happened to me where it wasn't getting thick enough, and I added way over enough amount of oil, and it wasn't getting thick enough. And so I was like, screw it, learn from her mistakes, and I scrapped it, and I made it again. I had the spare time too, and I still ended up having more spare time, so it ended up working good, and my mayo ended up being good. So, it worked out. Learn from people's mistakes. Moral of the story. But it ended up being really good. My one comment is I probably ended up poaching the salmon too early, but just because I had time to, and I was like, what do I start doing? I don't know. So that was my one comment, that I made it too early, which I would agree with. In the fun day, which was day 27, the very last day of fundies, we kind of all, let me find the picture of it first. So the last day of fundies, we had a schedule of what we were gonna make, but it wasn't like, I mean, it was set, but it wasn't like it was kind of just like a loose, like whatever happens. So we made grilled beef steak, which I think I got a ribeye, or maybe I got a New York New York steak. I don't know. We had like different ones, and we all got whatever, you know. And we all got to grill our own on the live fire grill that we have outside. And I actually have a really cool shot of my chef lighting the grill, and so I will put that in. Grilled steak. We made a compound butter for on top of the steak, which was so good. We made French fries. We made grilled vegetables, and that's actually what I took part in majority of the time. I made the grilled vegetables on the grill. I grilled them, and then we kind of finished them off in the pizza oven. We actually just kind of plated it and stuck it in the pizza oven to kind of like keep warming through. And we made beer battered onion rings, which were so good. And then the rest of it was kind of like whatever we have left on our carts, because each class has like speed racks. So we had like 3 or 4 speed racks that we just had to clear off because we were done with the class. So a couple of the things that were on the speed racks, we had asparagus on there, so we ended up grilling that with the grilled vegetables, which and then we also had spinach on there, and they made fried spinach. And if you've ever had kale chips, they kind of really reminded me of kale chips. But they were so good. But I love my spinach. And we also made whipped potatoes with that. And then also we had 2 people make drinks, and we had one drink that was like a lemonade, but they put more than just lemonade in it, and it was actually really good. And then someone also made from scratch, without a recipe, hot apple cider. It was so good. So I have my I have my picture from that day, and that was that is the end of my first semester. Culinary fundamentals was done. Thanks for watching. Sorry it took so much time for me to film and get it up, but it's finally up. Thank you so much for watching.